Good morning. We're going to talk about what you would do with the new brush that you have bought. A new brush usually comes like this, and with a cover cap like this. So what we should do first of all is remove the brush to the cap, and you will find that usually it is pretty stiff like this. That's because there's a glue that holds all the hair and bristle in place. So first thing you have to do is to soak the brush in water, so which is what I have here, and then let it sit there for a while before the glue will dissolve away. So you let it soak for a little bit. Usually it depends on the brush. It might take a few minutes. It might take half an hour or so, and then you can just see it is softened up and it is opening up like this, right? So what you will find after it has soaked is that it will be a brush like this, and then when you put it in the water, it's going to open up like this. So it will be soft and can be manipulated like this. So once you've done that, then it is ready to go. So let's say you have a brush that's dry like this. Actually, what I should mention is that once you have soaked it and then you want to let it dry, you will need to groom it into a nice pointed shape like this, and then you would use this loop here. You hang it somewhere, and then let it dry like this. That way you have protection of the bristles and the hair. The next thing, so let's say the brush is dry now, so it's like this, and then you would then you're ready to use it, right? So now to use it, you just have to first put the brush in water, and it's important to make sure that the brush is completely soaked with water. So if you just throw it in here, that's not enough. You have to make sure that all the air bubbles, you can just see the air bubbles coming out. Kind of push a little bit on the container, and then air bubbles will come out. And once you got rid of all the air bubbles, you know it is completely soaked. And then you get rid of the excess water by scraping on the side like this. And the next thing is you would groom it into shape like this on a piece of paper towel. The objective here is to have it come to a nice point. So then it comes to a nice point like this. Okay. So do whatever it takes to, and then by doing that you also soak up the excess water. And then at this stage, let's say you use a piece of rice paper, you will see that you can draw lines on here. I hope you can see the water mark without it bleeding out a lot. If you do not soak up the water, let's say I dip this in water for quite a bit, then it is quite wet, and then you can just see that it will bleed out like this. You can just see it will bleed out and make the line much wider than it should be, and you will have lost your control of the your stroke. So here we go. So let's say we have so we have it in. So you can just try this and just let's say draw some lines on here like this on the rice paper. Now let me get some ink, and you can just see what how it will work on the rice paper. Okay. Just move it into this side here. So I just do here. You can just a bit of light ink I have here, and then you can just draw various lines on here. Just try it out different directions, different speed, and then let it sit there for a while, and then sit, and you can just see it bleeds out in this manner. So you just get comfortable with what's going to happen. And let's see, as it gets, if you keep doing this a bit, then it becomes dry. And then what you can do is just to dip the tip in the water for less than a second, and then you can just see. So let's see that it is quite a bit more. It has quite a bit of water. So to recapitulate, so let's say you start with the water with a dry brush, you wet it completely, get rid of the bubbles, scrape it off, so your excess water. Use a paper towel to groom it into a pointy shape, get rid of the excess moisture, and then what you usually have to do is you dip the brush back into the water for a fraction of a second, and then you take ink, and then you can away you go. If it's too wet, you dry it off some more. If it's too dry, dip the tip, don't leave the tip into the water for a fraction of a second, and it is a lot wetter. Okay, so that's that. Try that for a bit, and then we're ready for the next stage, which is how to hold the brush and how to control the stroke. Okay, thank you.